Prince Harry, Sir Elton John, David Furnish, Liz Hurley, Sadie Frost, Doreen Lawrence, and former British lawmaker Simon Hughes are suing Associated Newspapers Limited, alleging unlawful information gathering. Well, the trial starts on Monday at the High Court in London, and we've got a lot to get into thanks to Reuters, so let's get started. Hey y'all, thank you so much for clicking on my video, and if you're returning, welcome back to my channel. Today, we're going to get more into this lawsuit as well as this upcoming court case, but before we do, if you haven't already, please don't forget to go ahead and like, subscribe, and share. So just to get us up to speed, I'll be reading from Reuters their summary of what has happened so far, and then I'll be giving my thoughts at the end. This article is linked in the description box below titled Sources. It says numerous hearings with often heated argument have been held, firstly to decide whether the case should proceed and then what allegations the court could and should consider. In November of 2023, Judge Matthew Nicklin ruled the case should go to trial, rejecting Associated's argument it should be dismissed because it had been brought outside a 6-year time limit. The following year, the British government gave permission to the claimant's legal team to use documents submitted to a 2011-2012 public inquiry into press standards, held in the wake of public anger over revelations of phone hacking by journalists on the Rupert Murdoch-owned title, The News of the World. However, Nicklin in October ruled Prince Harry's lawyers could not use allegations about Kate, the Princess of Wales and wife of his older brother Prince William, as part of their case, and rejected many of their other applications. The claimants have also had more wide-ranging parts of their case referring to phone hacking at separate media organizations cut from their lawsuits. Prince Harry and all the other claimants will appear to give evidence and face questions from A&L's lawyers. John and his husband are likely to give their evidence remotely. For Prince Harry, it will be the second time he has appeared in a witness box, having become the first royal to do so for more than 130 years during his successful phone hacking lawsuit against the publisher of the Daily Mirror newspaper in June of 2023. Among those due to appear to give evidence of A&L are current and former editors, senior journalists, and most notably Paul Dacker, the Mail's long-standing former editor and now the editor-in-chief of DMG Media, the publishing arm of Daily Fail and General Trust. He is set to be their initial witness, as Associated's lawyers said they would send senior figures over the top first. So here's a summary of some of the key issues. Now, we do have several videos talking about this. We have been covering this along the way, but if you're just finding me or you don't want to go all the way back and trudge through years of videos, I like giving these summaries from time to time, so why not now? Nicklin has been clear throughout the preliminary hearings that the trial should focus solely on a number of specific articles which the claimants say were based on unlawfully obtained information and should not become a second wide-ranging public inquiry into the behavior of the newspapers. The claimant's lawyer is David Sherborne, who has represented Prince Harry in other cases and was one of the most prominent lawyers in the public inquiry. He will need to persuade Nicklin that Associated used unlawful means to get stories about Prince Harry, John, and the others. Associated's team will argue that the reports were legitimately obtained and private detectives were not paid to hack phones, as the claimants allege. I wonder how they plan to prove that, because I can't say I'm obviously not invested in this in any way, in a real way, but just from the outside looking in and having been following this for so long and seeing so much of the evidence and information that they're sharing, it's pretty obvious that they were obtaining information illegally and unlawfully. I wonder how they plan to defend themselves. I assume not very well, but that's a good thing. Associated have cast the whole case as being manufactured by opponents of the press, including actor Hugh Grant, the late motor racing boss and privacy campaigner Max Mosley, and other figures, some of whom are now part of a research team assisting Prince Harry's lawyers. Now, we did talk about them on Tabloid's On Trial during that documentary. When we recapped that, several of these people have given interviews, and Hugh Grant's testimony as well as Max Mosley's were eye-opening. It was quite rampant what they were doing. They were just, unlawful is an understatement. It was the Wild West. They were obtaining information by any means, wielding the press and the media against these people, and essentially putting them in. It almost felt like a science experiment. It felt like they were weaponizing the public against these people to see how far they could go. And the further they went, the more coverage they were able to write about and publish. It was just making them money to abuse these people. And they were getting the information and manipulating it unlawfully. So even the information they were obtaining unlawfully, they weren't even reporting that objectively. They were reporting it with a spin, with a twist. They were directing the society. They were directing citizens and the public to harm these people. And they didn't say to outright harm, but these people were being bullied because of what was being published about them that was being obtained unlawfully. And it wasn't even being reported correctly, which it's bad enough to obtain information about someone unlawfully. That's horrible. Voyeurism, stalking, all of those things are horrible. But then to publish information that you find is also terrible. Then to create fake stories and narratives based on the private information that you unlawfully stole and obtained is also awful. There's so many levels to this deception. It's disgusting. I'm glad that they're being sued, but if this court rules in any other way outside of finding them guilty, I will be beside myself. I'm preparing one way or the other because, these court cases, they could go either way. There is a lot going on behind the scenes. There is a lot of politics, but at some point I just want to see the good guys win. And I guess I can just, especially being that I live in America right now, it would be wonderful to see justice served in some capacity. But being that I've been following this case specifically, as well as the others that are semi-related, it's about damn time that you guys give these people, especially Prince Harry, his just due, and Dorian Lawrence, of course. Everyone deserves justice, but because their stories were the ones that I've been following so closely and I've really invested time in, it's just so sad that they even have to fight for basic human rights. I mean, privacy is just one of those things. Someone not stalking and stealing your information, because that is absolutely what it is. When you obtain something unlawfully, that is theft. That is absolutely theft. Someone's already stolen your private information and then used it to lie on you. And then you can't say anything because the family you've been born into has told you to be quiet because we have an invisible contract. They really tried to screw Prince Harry every way. It's so unfortunate. Anyway, let's continue. We talked about this during the Tabloids on Trial recap, but I feel kind of passionate about this, so I apologize. They say a Daily Mail plan was hatched years before, meaning that some of the lawsuits should fail on time limitation. One of the key factors will be how the judge views evidence given by one of the key witnesses, private investigator Gavin Burrows, who is central to many of the allegations. He gave the claimant's legal team a witness statement in August of 2021 in which he said his work for Associated had included bugging landlines. But he has since provided further declarations to Associated's lawyers, denying these claims and saying that he believed the statement given to Prince Harry's lawyers had been prepared by others without his knowledge and was substantially untrue, and that his signature had been forged. Now, I'm going to need him to prove all that. In January, Prince Harry settled a lawsuit against Rupert Murdoch's UK newspaper group NGN, just as a 10-week trial was due to start. Now, I want to be very clear. He accepted a settlement offer. He did not initiate the settlement. He accepted, meaning NGN's lawyers wanted to settle. They didn't want to take this to trial. They didn't want to have to hand over all that evidence or have all that evidence out in the public atmosphere. So clearly that they said this in a way, maybe it's just me being kind of hypersensitive, but they said this in a way as if Prince Harry backed out of it. No, they backed out of it and he allowed them to based on certain terms and conditions that he agreed to. He won an apology from the group and an admission for the first time that private investigators working for the Sun newspaper had acted unlawfully. NGN had previously paid out millions to around 1,000 victims of phone hacking over activities by staff at its now defunct News of the World title. A similar deal would be trickier for Associated, though, as it has always stated its titles have not been involved in any unlawful news gathering. Then they should have no problem proving it. Thank you so much for watching the SharionSade YouTube channel. I appreciate you watching my content. If you haven't already, please don't forget to go ahead and like this video by hitting the thumbs up. Please don't forget to subscribe by hitting the subscribe button. And don't forget to comment along the way. If you feel so inclined, please don't forget to share so that more people can find us. Once again, thank you so much for watching. Now let's get back to the video. When I zoom out, one of the things that bothers me the most about all of this is just simply how long Prince Harry has been dealing with this. In any other context, what the media has done and what his family has allowed and participated in would be outrageous. And to me, him being a royal doesn't make it any less outrageous, which is why I spend so much time on this here microphone, yelling into the void that this is outrageous that anyone is being treated this way. And everyone's just like, it's the way things are done. I want to try to zoom in a little bit and see if maybe I can get them to understand, the people who doubt that Prince Harry has suffered any kind of real experience or consequences from these people's actions. I'm going to go to the park and I'm just going to pick a baby, just a random baby. And I'm going to say, hey, baby, where are your parents? He's going to point me to his parents. Maybe he won't even be old enough to point me to his parents. Even better, because that's about the time they start lying on Prince Harry. I'm going to go to the parents. I'm going to say, hey, I have this notebook. I have access to a whole lot of people in the world. I also sell stories to tabloids, and they are looking for some drama you wouldn't believe. And they'll buy just about any damn thing. They have no integrity. And I want to talk shit about you. Now, at first moment, they might try to fight me. They might try to yell at me, and I might say, hold on, I'm not done. To get me to not talk shit about you and put all your business out there, why don't you just lend me this here baby? And I talk shit about that here baby, and I won't talk about you. And if you don't want the baby to be affected, just don't teach him to read. He'll be fine. But I'm going to write about him in place of writing about you. Now, I'm still going to be keeping tabs, because you seem like interesting people, and I'm going to be knowing all your dirt, and I want you to give me all that baby's dirt, and I won't publish any of yours. Then you save me the trouble of having to dig up stuff on you. Either take the deal, or I put all your business out there. And so because these people are cowards without integrity, they say, okay, yeah, just talk about our baby. We just won't let him see the stuff. And when we do, we'll ask him to be quiet. Even better. I don't have any opposition. Thank you. And so I just start talking cash shit about this baby. And this poor baby is just going through life, and people are looking at this baby, calling this baby a druggie. They're calling this baby crazy. They're saying this baby is the bad seed, and they're making up stuff on this baby. And then even worse, I want new pictures of the baby, because those now sell, because we have started a whole bunch of rumors on the baby. And now this is going global, and people are like, well, what does this here baby look like? Because he sounds like he is raising hell. Let me show you. And so now photographers are putting cameras in this baby's face. And when the baby gets frustrated, because no one should have to live like a lab rat, and he says, hey, get that camera out of my face, and he touches the lens, now that photographer has a lawsuit. Guess what? I get to write about that too. Now that photographer gets to sue the baby. The baby's going to have to pay the photographer. And then I get to talk about all of this. You just bought me a month's worth of groceries. Thanks, baby. Thanks, photographer. This baby is still experiencing anguish, and this baby goes to his parents, who made the deal in the first place. And the baby says, parents, could you protect me from this? Parents are supposed to protect. And they say, listen, you know your dad is bad at tax evasion, and you know I've been out here hooking. We don't I have made this little family, I've made their life a living hell, have I not? And this family is like, listen, we're going through a lot, and we want to keep these secrets buried. So you're just going to have to bear the brunt of it. Can we, could we leave a cigarette in the back of your crib, and then let them take photos of it, and then they can make up a couple of stories off that. And you just don't have to read it. Just ignore it. So now everybody's walking around thinking this baby smokes, thinking this baby beats up photographers, thinking this baby is a hothead, thinking this baby is crazy. All the while the parents are just living it up. Now, if I cross the line with the parents, then they sue me. But when the baby's like, you sued, why don't I sue? They're like, shh, be quiet, little baby. Hush, little baby, don't say a word. Like, hush the baby. That is what they've been doing to Prince Harry on a much broader scale. But because he has a crown, people say, oh, well, it's fine to abuse the baby. The baby is now, 41 years old, 42 years old now? Y'all not gonna leave the baby alone? I'm not gonna leave it's been 40 plus years of this man having to deal with people saying things. And we're not even going to get into if the baby's father harms the mom, or the mom leaves, etc. And the baby's father now has a new person in their life. And now there's a stepmother, and she says, oh, I got a lot of secrets, and I want to make a lot of friends in a lot of high places. Can I also sell stories about the baby? Can I also make up stuff about this baby? And the dad's like, sure, go ahead. It's fine. You're my favorite Rottweiler. Sell stories to the tabloids about this baby. And now you've got the whole family. The only difference in Prince Harry's case, obviously, is Princess Diana wasn't involved. But I'm using this as an example to show how Prince Harry's family outside of Princess Diana was complicit in maligning him publicly. They've been complicit in abusing him, and then later his wife, and then, of course, his children publicly. And the media has never been held accountable, not only for publishing false stories about him, but they've also deployed people to obtain information about this man unlawfully, even when he was a child. In any other case, if I were to try to hack your kid's school's database to talk about little Timmy, you would probably have a problem with that. You'd probably knock me out cold with my microphone, as I would hope that you would. You would probably handle business, as you should. But what does Charles do? Be quiet, my darling boy. That's not okay. That's not okay at all. So anyway, I love every bit of Prince Harry getting justice. I love every bit of these claimants holding these newspapers and their co-conspirators to account. It shouldn't have happened in the first place. The least they can do is get justice. So I'm going to have my thumb on the pulse of this, because I'm looking forward to this trial starting. No one should have to deal with this, but I am interested in what you all feel. Feel free to let me know in the comment section below. At this time, that is all I have right now. Tomorrow, I know that I did a live premiere last Friday when I meant to do a live stream, but tomorrow we will actually have a live stream. I have 3 topics that I want to get into. Unfortunately, I do have to talk about something going on with the other royals that are left over there. We're going to talk about that. Then we have to talk about the latest update from Sussex.com. And then, of course, we have more Harry and Meghan news, of course. So I look forward to seeing you all in the live stream tomorrow. I hope you enjoyed today's video, and I do look forward to reading your comments. Members, you have a video up. I hope you enjoyed it. And Patreon members, y'all have another video coming up today. So I hope you'll enjoy that. If you haven't already, please don't forget to go ahead and like this video, subscribe to the channel, and feel free to share so that we can get more subscribers and help me to grow. Thanks so much for all your help and support, and I will see y'all next time. Bye.